No, I'm actually buying into this.
Right, of course it's true. It's all true. When it's true, it's real.
Well,
everything I'm telling you is true. Everything I'm telling you is real. It exists. It's true.
Well, what I'm saying is you say your life is your medium, and
it's done for an audience of one. Because the rest of the world, they can't really understand. People see me, and I delight in presenting a fantastic spectacle to people in terms of my technicality. You know, I'm all teched out. I'm strapped with every kind of layer of equipment just to be walking. Because I need it. That's why. When you're 4 or 5 miles from your house, you better have a pair of tweezers if your dog gets up. You better have a compression bandage in case he slices his leg open or you knock a thing in there. If you don't have a compression bandage, and you do something like this, okay, it'll bleed as you're walking. It'll bleed. It won't stop. It'll fill your shoe or boot up with blood if you don't have a compression bandage. So, and I present this fantastical spectacle to people. But I understand. They can't understand it because it's so fantastical. It's kind of like the Lone Ranger. And the Lone Ranger would come galloping into town. There would be all the schmuck townspeople, right? And here the Lone Ranger would be wearing this mask, a skin-tight outfit, a really elaborate 2-gun rig mounted with silver with chrome pistols, and just a theatrical outfit. He'd be mounted on this beautiful Palomino. He'd have this trippy Indian named Tonto with him. You know what I'm talking about? And if the Lone Ranger would ride out again, what would they always say about the Lone Ranger? You don't remember it, but not. They would always say,
"Who was that masked man?"
Yeah, who was that masked man? Okay, that's what I do to society.
Well, let me ask you.
They can't get their mind around it even. That's why they remember me. That's why I can't go anywhere without 100 people calling in. I bet there's people that have called in that met me one time over 10 years ago for 5 minutes and remember me.
You're absolutely right. Which brings up something interesting that you're talking about, and why, you know, one thing I'm curious about.
What?
You bumped into a Cherokee County deputy up on some private hunting property back in it was October or something, and that was widely publicized after after we caught up with one another and
Did you hear? Did he get on tape my joke about deer hunters?
Yeah.
What's the 3 reasons the deer hunter goes into? Yeah. Now, I made that up. I'm a comedian too.
Well, see, I mean, you threw it out there to him that you were what did he throw out there?
That's my standard. I finally realized what I was doing.
Does it?
I'm doing this day after day, and I finally realized it about
combat patrols where you got to stay alert all the time.
Well, it's not, combat patrols, and that's it, and land navigation. It's exactly it. Mm-hmm. Every time I go out walking my dog, every time I go out walking my dog, I'm like a police officer. I understand that there's a significant chance that before I come home, I'm going to be fighting for my life.
Right.
Every time I walk my dog anywhere.
Right.
You know why? Because go and take a 7-mile run through neighborhoods. You'll hear 1 million dogs barking. Well, all it takes is one gate left open, one door left open. I got a Rottweiler this big. One time, I'd run a route for over 10 years, and I never knew the dog was there. And I'm passing by a house, and I hear a guy yelling, "Bad dog! Bad dog! Bad dog!" And I looked, and that was his dog's name. It was a big-ass Rottweiler coming for me. He had gotten loose out of the house, and that was the dog's name, Bad Dog. I mean, that's the way it is, man. You know, it's like police work. You know, I mean, 90 minutes of boredom and 10 minutes of utter, pucker up shit, man. Right? But it's happened so much, though. I thought so, and again, I say fighting. I shape the situation rather than kick ass. Because if you kick ass, it's going to ruin your day regardless. Even if you're right, it may not go your way. You don't have a bad, so So yeah. Anyway, I realized that about 1995 or so, I realized that that's what I'm doing. I do just like you do on, for instance, we were mechanized too, in addition to being airborne, which meant we had armored personnel carriers, the M113, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. And that's typical mechanized stuff. You get in the track, you drive somewhere, you unaft, you form a perimeter, you run a patrol, you come back, you unload again, move. It's just a war of movement, You move, get out, you don't hang around that track. It's a good target. You don't sit in a damn track. You get out anytime it stops, because you're going to be safer in there. RPG will take that track out, man. It's got an 80-gallon gas tank. Whoa. And that's what I was doing with the truck, with the dog. I'd get in the truck or a vehicle, move, get out, get my shit together, run a patrol, come back, eat, sleep, move, get out, get my shit together, run a patrol, and I finally realized that I was just on perpetual field maneuvers. And I said, well, it ain't much of a life, but hell, it's a life.
Well, when you throw that stuff out like that, I'm trying to figure out. You call it artistry or whatever. Is it
well, you might call it insanity.
No. I'm not saying that. No, I don't think you're insane by no stretch of the imagination.
No.
What I'm getting at is it almost like a little acting on your behalf to, I don't know, kind of steer this law enforcement officer away from you, or?
With him, no. I was being perfectly candid with him. I steered him away from me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out what,
Well, here's the thing. Police officers are individuals, so of course they're going to run across the whole spectrum of human behavior. But
right.
there's a large number of police officers that are highly experienced,
right,
and that they are pros,
right,
and they recognize a pro when they see a pro.
Right.
And I'm a pro.
Right.
Okay. I'm not some bum out there sleeping in my van.
Right.
I'm a pro.
Right.
He saw my map collection because I was showing him maps, man. And these are just the maps I carry.
Right.
I got a Rubbermaid 36-gallon Rubbermaid container full of maps, right. Area maps, topo maps, every kind of map. Okay,
you're not just laying around your train.
I got a map collection that's so exotic. I mean, it's wild. It's got every kind of area map everywhere from Shining Rock Wilderness to all the way down to Ocala National Forest in Florida. I can pull out any map. And I got topo, actual USGS topo map, so much of the North Georgia area, every kind of map. I got Cherokee National Forest, Nonahowa National, every national forest. Not only that, I have multiples of many of them, because you lose a map and you only have one map. I've done it. It screws you up. It's hard to get another one too.
Well, in the interest of time, if you don't care, let's go back to, where did we get up to? The early 80s.
About 1980.
Mm-hmm. Early 80s?
Right after the divorce.
You were still in Atlanta at that time, and you were back?
Yeah, and when I got busted, I had to go straight for 6 months. I got a job.
What did you get arrested for?
Fraudulent telephone solicitation. It was a misdemeanor then, though. Now it's a felony.
What type of telephone fraud were you doing at that point?
Well, the usual. Georgia Veterans Journal, Georgia Inspectors Journal,
right.
Southeast Regional Council, Georgia Youth Support Project. Back then the BBB had a list of charities that were not approved for giving. They didn't say disapproved. They just said not approved for giving. Don't meet their guidelines or wouldn't respond is what it was. They were on one sheet and it was just tiny little type. So you had like 3-4 columns. So you had like probably 300 charities on this one sheet, 250 charities. Well, I was like, just me was like 4 or 5 of them was on that, and they were me, Southeast Regional Council, the Georgia Christian. I call it the Georgia Christian Index because just out of my subconscious I came up with that, but actually the name of it turned out that the name of the official Southern Baptist publication is the Christian Index, and I call it mine Southeast Regional Council because somewhere out of my subconscious I had seen Southern Regional Council, which is a decades-old organization, quasi-government, that kind of thing. And somewhere I'd heard that, and thinking I had no a priori knowledge of that, I thought I came up with it on my own, Southeast, but it was pretty damn close.
What year was that you got arrested for that?
79.
79?
Yeah, probably about November.
And
so I pled that out. And I went and got a job. Had to quit they took everything, and everything, and did a search warrant on my house too. And So I got a job for about 6 months. I got a job till July.
Hmm.
And by then I was long divorced.
What kind of job?
On the phone selling industrial chemicals.
Okay.
Long distance on a Watts line. Back then they had wide area telephone service, dedicated long distance lines back then.
Right.
Yeah. And got that job, kept that.
What
What was
that?
the name of that place?
It's no longer existent. Chem Manufacturing, KEM.
So that was what, like right after you got out, so 81-ish, like the beginning of 81, or?
Or 80? That was
Was
probably
it, if you got picked up in November?
Oh, no, I in 1980 I went, in July, I kept that to July of 1980.
Okay.
And then what'd you do?
Oh, went back to my old habits. Well, tough holding a job now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where were you?
I asked a guy one time in Dekalb County Jail, it was in 79, I was in there on that bus. The guy was telling me his life story. These were all of them were white guys at the time, and if you'd have told me, one day DeKalb County would be majority black, that would have been the furthest thing from my mind. This was back then. DeKalb County was a white suburban county.
Mm-hmm.
DeKalb County Joe, this guy was telling me the story of his life, and it was just, a tragedy. The guy was getting in. He's a recidivist, okay? And so I asked him, some of the truest words ever spoken. I asked him, well, why? Why do you keep doing this? Well, why? Why? And he said, because I can't get up and go to work. And, if that describes most criminals, I mean, you could say a criminal is someone that breaks the law, gets away with it, and keeps doing it until he gets caught. That's a good definition. But another good definition is one that can't get up and go to work in the morning. That's the artist. Don't you understand? That's the artist in me. Artists don't get up and go to work in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Artists, that's why they call them con artists.
Mm-hmm.
You see. Right? So, okay, anyway, okay. Listen, I started doing that, and I kept doing it through the 80s. I took a bust in 87. My GCIG, or my computer printout, has it set by taken, but the actual charge is set by deception, T by D. Misdemeanor again.
Right.
The woman lured me over there to Dunwoody, Mount Vernon Road in Ashford, Dunwoody, right in the heart of Dunwoody. A fucking yuppie woman lured me over there to pick up a $25 check, and then kept me waiting for the check. She was really good. She was pretending she was on the phone, and she would come out and let me see her on the phone. Kept me waiting there for 30 minutes, When I told my criminal friends about it, they said, I could never sit there waiting for 30 minutes. Taught me a lesson. Yeah. And they showed up, DeKalb County North again, and they showed up, arrested me. They got the check. They got the woman complaining. They found my car. Okay, the car I was driving was a stolen car.
Really?
It had been stolen from a rental company that I'd been renting from. And
What kind of car was it?
Chevy. It was 1986. Chevy. Not Cavalier, not Citation. Oh, there was a million of these cars. Anyways, it's a generic rental car,
Right.
Chevy Eurosport. And I had been renting these cars from them.
Mm-hmm.
14 a day, unlimited mileage. That was a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I could go out and, if I say all my stuff I had to pick up, I could just rent the thing once a week and go put 200 miles on it for 7 cents a mile. You can't... you can't do, you can get something for 7 cents a mile, just jump on it, because, your car's going to cost you 30 cents, it is, these days it will. So I did that. Not only that, if I rented on a Friday, they used a key drop. They were closed on Saturdays and Sundays, and they were at storefront, snappy rental-car, storefront shopping centers. And so if I rented on a Friday, they had no way of determining when I brought it in. I'd bring it back Sunday night. So it was sweet, but they finally stopped that. And I had it, and I had a bunch of rental forms that, from actually renting the cars.
Mm-hmm.
They were like the third copy. You couldn't read them anyway.
Right.
And that was not only a proof of ownership, but it was also proof of insurance. They had checked off if you had purchased an insurance check. And so I just drove it on that, had dealer drive-out tags on it. And at that time, dealer drive-out tags were just not the issue. They were just the old,
Right.
Joe Jones Chevrolet.
Yeah,
right.
just the thick on there.
I mean, one time a cop in Tennessee, in a state park, High Falls State Park in Tennessee, I was up there with a stolen car, and park police or police officer, some jurisdiction saw me, and he followed me and followed me and followed me. I knew he was following me inside this park. And I was going to the office to pick up a map there, so I pulled in and parked, and I got out, and he pulled in and got out, was walking in, and he says, is that what y'all have in Georgia there, those things? I said, yeah, that's what they use. He said, well, it's no good for police work. Yeah, I'm thinking, little does he know what this thing costs. Yeah.
When was that?
87 or 80.
87.
I drove that car till 80. I drove it for years.
Wait a minute, when did you rent it?
Oh, you mean stole it?
Yeah.
86.
Oh, okay.
I drove it 89. The first day I used it, the reason I used it is I just